It talks about the first dimension of walking being a state where you have the intent to go and do something. I want to go to the shops, I need food. Pretty simple, but you're not moving, so it's your first dimension. Second dimension is you become mobile and you move from where you are now to your destination to achieve a very specific goal. The third dimension is where things are less constrained and you're still starting at the same place, but your ending point now multiplies out an infinite number of times, both on a linear plane, but also the up and down. When we reach the fourth dimension, we start to consider other inputs, historical facts and figures. Why was this building put together? What was it made from? Who built it and why did they build it? What went on here? What will happen to this building? What will happen in future? Who will come here? What will it be used for? That's another layer, that's the fourth dimension. Fifth dimension starts to get into our conscious. It starts to look at how we see ourselves reflected from our environment. Our fears and our desires start to shape the way that we see these things around us. And as we move into the sixth dimension, we start to draw more on subconscious, on the demons and the angels and the symbols that are unique to all humans. They're inside us, and it's a voice that can say, here we see an angel in the clouds. The trick with all of this is not to get too hung up on which dimension you're in at any particular time, because the fact is that none of these dimensions exist. They exist in a book, and they're a great framework for understanding things, but the freedom that you find by transcending to the seventh dimension is that you can exist in all of these planes at the same time, and they bleed into each other. The seventh dimension is about walking into the unknown and embracing it.
And we mixed it up, that was the whole point. We would use everything that we could to make our walks as meaningful, as unusual, maybe as threatening and exciting as possibly possible.
Well, anything can be a map. You know, I mean, literally anything. This carpet could be a map. You know, if you want to superimpose it over a place, or if you want to use it forget about the place. You don't know the place you're going to. You use it to give you an idea of the type of place you want to go to, or when you get to a place, how you're going to explore that. Anything can be a map, really. We used, as I said, carpets, wallpapers. A lot of these wallpapers from the 1960s make excellent maps, actually. It's difficult to come across now, since we've got pastel shades on the walls, which aren't very good maps, I have to say. As you say, electrical diagrams. Remember, a map is not just a map of 2 dimensions. It can be a map of 1 dimension, of the single line moving through space. I mean, one time we had a particular map. I think it had come from a recipe book, really. It was something to do with the sauce. And we made a map out of these various instructions, and we thought, we'll do this. We imposed it upon, I think it's sort of about 10 square miles of Yorkshire Dales in winter. And we imposed this walk on there. Well, it was dreadful, really, in a wonderful sort of way. We ended up stuck in snow for a day and a half. Because, of course, the walk, whereas when we used the same map and did it in the centre of Manchester, 3 days later, we ended up in the pub at the end of it. And this was the same map, the same walk, only moved from the Yorkshire Dales, not 25 miles away, to Manchester, an entirely different experience with the same pathway.
That was the whole point, to make all these events appear. Unpredictability is a really good part in the walk. Well, it was a little bit with Donald. It was as if he wouldn't even apply these techniques. He would just be there. It was as if he impersonated that state of being to a much more extended degree. I can't really put it into words, but like it was as if he wouldn't actively get into that headspace. He would just be it. But if you want to understand Donald or Anton, respectively, you really should have a look at like Crowley's writings.
I knew Alex Shirley when his systems were completed. He was the great magician, walker, whatever of his time, and he passed it to me. I'm not as good as he was, but I have the full picture. I have the full picture.
Walking, magical act of creation, well, as the I or you, the human instrument, with its infinite cosmic capacity to link between all worlds and all planes, move through this walking experience. We are, in fact, as we envision, we are creating and experiencing the entire cosmos with each step we take. It is a wonderful and powerful thing, and we have only a slight clue as to the full power and scope of our being. You must wake up to this. Walking is a way of exercising this power and bringing into life, through ambulatory activity, the full scope of our cosmic inheritance, dear friend.